seems like a lot of the stuff that you had mentioned around blatant security laws violations, people creating securities, people laundering money, people doing these things, like those things seem to be squarely in the crosshairs. And I have a hard time seeing those aspects continuing, at least in the way that they did. But I just don't know that it's going to be a total shutdown. More so that it's going to be, we're going to regulate this, and it's going to fit into our system. We're going to force it to fit in. I don't know.
So a couple of points. The point was to create victims because the Fed is cracking down, and you need a few scalps to scare the populace into stopping whatever it is the Fed wanted them to stop. And this is all about the sanctity of the U.S. dollar. And the dollar is power, and the dollar is control. And to the extent that crypto was viewed as an affront to the U.S. dollar, this is war. And there's civilian casualties are, in the minds of the Fed, a necessary consequence of ending what they view as an affront to their power and control. I don't think that's deniable. So they actually, not only did they not care about the victims, the Celsius victims, and the Signature and Silvergate, all these S's sort of flow together at some point, but they wanted them. The message to the rest of the banking world has been sent, and I mentioned in the intro that while we're not banking experts, we have many friends in banking, and one of my friends, saw this coming, and like there is, what risk committee at a publicly traded bank today isn't looking at what happened to these banks and asking themselves, why is it again that we do anything in this vertical? So that's one. Second, Mark Cahotas made a fascinating point on a Spaces that Edwin Dorsey hosted last week. And you said that the money laundering is going to go away. I suspect it's just going to go somewhere else, and trying to understand where it's going to go is an interesting thing. And I say that because Mark made a fascinating point at the top of that Spaces, which is his theory is that these offshore crypto exchanges popped up after Wirecard collapsed because the money launderers needed a new place to go. And he calls the sort of crypto collapse as not a crypto story, but a money laundering story with a crypto wrapper. And so another question to ponder is, like, there's a huge demand for money laundering, hundreds of billions of dollars. The people laundering that money are deadly serious about capturing the gains of their illegal activities. So where does that the law of conservation of money laundering means if you squeeze the balloon on one side, it's going to pop up somewhere else. Where that somewhere else is, I don't know. But that's another sort of question here to think about in the weeks and months ahead. And if Mark is right, that the sort of the crypto veneer was all a masquerade to hide, a charade to hide, that the fact that Wirecard was out of business and the launderers needed a new shingle to hang outside their door, that's an interesting and provocative thought. And so that's sort of where my head is on that.